Hello, this is the BBC News with Fiona MacDonald. The White House says Russia could at any point launch an attack on Ukraine, where it has massed some 100,000 troops on the border. Russia has denied it's a prelude to an invasion. The White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, said it was an extremely dangerous situation. Barbara Plett-Usher in Washington says Russia will face tough sanctions if an invasion takes place.
The costs will involve financial sanctions, they will involve export controls on certain products, they will involve increased defensive support to Ukraine, and they will involve increased deployments in the eastern flank of NATO. That's pretty much what they've been saying all along. It hasn't had an impact on Russia, at least publicly so far. However, we understand that this call that Secretary Blinken had with Foreign Minister Lavrov, during that call they decided they would meet, the US and Russia at least.
The US telecoms giant AT&T has agreed to delay its imminent rollout of new 5G mobile networks across the country after warnings it could cause chaos in the aviation industry. A second provider, Verizon, is under pressure from the Biden administration to follow suit. It says it will launch on Wednesday as planned. Theo Leggett reports.
The fear is that radio signals from 5G masts could interfere with systems used to measure altitude on aircraft as they come into land, potentially causing a crash. To prevent this, the US regulator imposed restrictions on how affected aeroplanes could operate at some airports, which could mean that in bad weather or poor visibility in particular, flights would have to be diverted or cancelled. Airlines of America, which represents leading carriers, has warned that the sector could face massive disruption.
The British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has rejected allegations by his former top adviser Dominic Cummings that he lied to Parliament last week about a party held at his official residence during a coronavirus lockdown. Mr Johnson is facing pressure to resign over alcohol-fuelled meetings during lockdowns, but insists he did nothing wrong.
I'm absolutely categorical. Nobody said to me, this is an event that is against the rules, that is in breach of what we're asking everybody else to do. Should not go ahead. What I remember is going out into that garden for a short time, of 25 minutes or so, thanking staff who'd worked on COVID, who were continuing to work on COVID, and then going back to my office.
The former Colombian Senator Ingrid Betancourt has announced she will run for president again, 20 years after being kidnapped by the FARC rebel group. Ms Betancourt was one of the favourites to win the 2002 poll when she was abducted. She was held hostage in the Colombian jungle for 6 years under appalling conditions. Analysts say she's widely respected in Colombia. World News from the BBC. Israeli police have given up efforts to evict members of a Palestinian family from their barricaded home in occupied East Jerusalem. The Salhiya family have long been facing eviction from their house in the Sheikh Jarrah neighbourhood. The land it sits on was allocated for school construction in 2017. Lawyers for the family today filed a petition to Israel's Supreme Court to get the eviction order cancelled. Customs officials in Senegal say they've seized 3 containers of ammunition worth $5 million from a Guyana-flagged cargo ship. The crew members, who included Ukrainians and a Greek national, were taken into custody. A ship tracking website confirmed that the vessel had stopped in northern Italy and Spain's Canary Islands. According to the labels on the container, they appeared to be destined for the Dominican Republic in the Caribbean. The technology giant Microsoft says it will buy the maker of video games such as Call of Duty for almost $70 billion. The takeover of Activision Blizzard is the biggest deal ever by the company founded by Bill Gates. Jonathan Josephs reports.
With almost 400 million players across the world, the company offers Microsoft a huge pool of new customers. The tech giant already has a big presence in gaming thanks to its Xbox console. But this deal will allow it to better compete with its main rival, the Sony PlayStation. It comes despite Activision facing a string of negative headlines about a toxic workplace culture and claims of sexual harassment. Microsoft clearly believes that despite that, the quality of games it's buying will take it to the next level.
New Zealand and Australia have dispatched warships carrying vital water and other supplies to Tonga, which it says it has suffered an unprecedented disaster after being hit by a tsunami triggered by a volcanic eruption on Saturday. The Tongan government says all the houses on one less populated island were destroyed. BBC News.